Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I'm going to start another layout. But the first thing I want to do is I knew that I wanted to color in this little coffee cup, and this is from Whippersnapper. It's called Kobe's Caffeine, and I'm just using some India ink and I'm stamping it out. And the first time I kind of was off a little bit, so I stamped it again. But I mean, it's just on scrap paper, so one thing that it was good is if I wanted to try something out, I was able to use that second one. I'm using my Copic markers. I don't even remember what color I used, but a lot of them were like the gray, so the C's, and then some of the E's, E, and I think it was like 21, and then I always tried to go like two above, so 23, and then one way above that, which would have been maybe like 27 or something like that, just for the darker brown. And I'm basically coloring. There was a little picture that I put my stamp in these Simon Says Stamp little envelopes, clear envelopes. But there was a little picture of the character all colored in that was on the stamp set. And I cut it out and I stuck it in there because I like to have little examples. I never had any kind of training for, Copics or coloring or anything like that. So I like to have, a little example. And if next time I want to do it in another color, at least I get a feel of, a mouse is gray. So I can do it in another color. But this stamp set is so stinking cute. I don't know if this is the first time or the second time that I'm using the stamp set, or maybe I just stamped it before and just kind of was playing, coloring it. And so basically, I used like four different colors. I used the C's, the E's, and then I did use a little bit of green for the coffee cup, or the oval that goes around that says coffee. And then I did use a little bit of pink just for in his ears and in the mouse's ears, and then the mouse's paws. And then I do end up coloring. So I'm trying out the green there to see which ones I like better, because I didn't know which color was gonna look better. And then I'm also going to color that cup in blue that he's holding. The little mouse is holding a cup of coffee, and it has a little heart. So I'm going to go get some red and some blue. And I have to say, I am not a fan of mice. Like, if I see them in real life, I run. But in a stamped image, they are stinking cute. And I need to do a page of my youngest daughter. Her new pets are rats. And anyway, she brought them here once because she didn't want to leave them alone. And I was like, almost. Anyway, she kept opening the cage and I kept like squealing. But so yeah, I'm not a big fan of mice, but when they're in a stamped image, they're super stinking cute. I just kind of showed you quickly what the stamped image looks like, but at the end I added some pictures, and one of them is a close-up of the stamped image. And that's what I love about stamps is, I used it this one time, but I can stamp it over and over and over again and use it multiple times, change the color, and it looks like a different stamp set. And that's one of my goals this year is I need to try to use my stamp sets a whole lot more. So I was thinking about using two pictures for this layout, and in the end I decided on just one, and I'm watching Netflix. I don't have cable on my TV upstairs. All I have is, it's a smart TV, so I have Netflix and YouTube, and actually I need to go somewhere else and sign in on YouTube for up there, so I can't even watch YouTube right now, but I'm good with Netflix. I was either watching The 100 at that point, and I'm on the last season and only had like 5 episodes to watch. And if I was done that, then I was watching Suits, because I'm way behind on Suits. and I think now I'm in season 5. So this, I love this when I'm scrapbooking. I'm able to watch, catch up on some TV shows. I am not watching TV the way I used to. I read a whole lot more, but I'll come back to that as, I'm going through this page. So the first thing I did is I put some clear gesso on my background and I dried it with my heat gun, and now I'm adding some water to my aqua Huez from Glimmers, and I'm letting that kind of soak in because they're like dried watercolor and you just got to add water to reactivate them. And I actually like that a whole lot better because I don't have to worry about these drying up and then, they're no good. They're already dried. And whenever I need to use them, I just activate them and use them. And those are from Glimmers. And I wanted to use, again, I'm using a bunch of scraps. I just can't seem to get away from scraps lately. I think I have like 7 more videos or layouts to put up that's all using scraps. So I'm just in the mood to use some scraps and kind of, get them out of my drawers. And I have a basket that's full of them. And I have one drawer that is full of scraps. And so I'm just trying to use a little bit of scraps before I start using some newer stuff. So I had some scraps that were in the orange and the green and the aqua. So that's the colors that I'm going to use. Well, more like a minty green, not aqua. So that's the colors that I'm going to use in my watercolors. So I put some orange, I put some green, and then I'm going to take some Dazzlers, and it's a nice bright orange. I think it's called Dreamsicle, and it's nice and bright and orange. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, the protective cover that's on inside the cover, it's like a foamy thing. Do not throw that thing out. I lost one of mine, and when I went to use it, it was my brown, which is my favorite. I must have picked it up with my scraps. Anyway, it's totally hardened and it's garbage. I can't use it anymore. So just a word of warning, make sure that that little protective foamy thing stays. Don't throw it away because they will harden and then you'll have to throw them out. So I just used a template and I just added texture to the background, and a lot of that is going to be covered because of the pattern paper and everything, but I just wanted a little bit to peek out anyway. So I just made it so that it was a bigger area and I was able, then some of it can peek out. Now, I have had this brush. I don't know what kind of brush it is, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of has like teeth. So it has some bristle and then it's open and then more bristle and it's open again. And it's perfect for splattering. So I just took it and just added it in inside my little pots that was filled with water, and then I just sprinkled it and it made wonderful sprinkles. So I'm going to make sure to keep that close from now on, and when I want to do some sprinkles I can use that brush. So I want to mount that one photo, which is a picture of Starbucks, and I'm going to mount it on some black cardstock. Okay, so years ago when we didn't have a Starbucks in our area, that was our tradition. Whenever we traveled, we would get some Starbucks. And now we have a Starbucks, but for me, half the time I can't even justify just going to, our Tim's and getting coffee. We still do, but not as I have to say lately. Before, I used to bring my coffee from home all the time from work, and lately I feel that that's sort of my only treat that I treat myself to. So I do get coffee ever since I started day shifts, actually. So the last 5 months, every time I work, I get some Tim's, but that's the only time that we do. Like whenever I'm off, I drink coffee from home. But when we go on vacation, that's our treat. We get Starbucks. I get a vanilla latte. Around Christmas, when we have to do shopping, I have to say I usually will get a latte or um, a mocha, like with whatever Christmassy ones that are out there, just because shopping is like torture to me. And I feel that if I get that latte or the special coffee, that at least I feel like, you know, I'm getting some kind of reward for spending that much time in the stores. I am really not a shopper. Um, there was something on Facebook last week that made me laugh. It was like it was like a little diagram, and it was like, this is a man shopping, and it's, it shows the line of going into the store, going exactly where they want to go, and then out the door, and then it says woman shopping, and then you see like they keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like 5 or 6 times going around, and I'm like, I'm more like the man. Go get what I need and then get out. Like, I am not a shopper whatsoever. And even, that's the joke at our house, because, and at work, I tell them I haven't gone grocery shopping in at least 6 or 7 years. Like, my husband does the grocery shopping because I just cannot be in a store. It's not going to happen. I just can't be in a store. So anyway, kind of on a little rabbit trail there, but so when we go on these trips, and this one here was my daughter it was her last competition. Well, it wasn't her last competition, but it was her last competition that far away, because she knew she was going to retire that year. And it was in Niagara Falls, which is 18 hours away. And I had gone to every single one that she had gone to. But my husband had never gone, and my son had never gone. So where we knew it was going to be her last trip, we made it a family vacation. We all went, and we also took her fiance, which at the time was her boyfriend. And he was going to go anyway, but then it ended up that he didn't have to pay for, gas and all that stuff for a bus trip, or, whatever the case may be. And in the end, my daughter decided to come with us instead of taking the bus, because she just wanted to travel with us instead of being on the bus. She had done that, like I said, quite a few times. So we had a bunch of fun on the way there and on the way back. And so I just want to document the fact that even my son, he's not a coffee drinker at all, but when we go on trips like that, he likes to have a latte. But back to the layout. I guess I did use some pattern papers that were like full 6x6, but they were in my bucket or my container that was full of scraps, and it was leftovers from other pages. Some of them are, 3/4 of a page, a full page, but they sort of seem like they don't belong anywhere. So I'm trying to use them up before I kind of put them away, and, trying to figure out where I'm going to put these 6x6 that were ripped out of the 6x6 pattern, or the full pages that are just sitting there. So it's a great way to, get some pages done quite quickly, because it was from previous pages sitting there. There's a lot of embellishments that coordinate, and it's really easily kind of picked apart and put together. Now I'm trying to use up some of these rub-ons, and I'm going to end up throwing them out because they don't work. So I'm going to get frustrated, and I'm just going to throw them out. They don't rub off at all. And I think they've been like that since they were new, and I should have thrown them out a long time ago, but I didn't. So I went and got some, I was going to say floss, but it's just some little cord of some kind, and it's in orange, and I kind of put 2 of them together because it was kind of not very thick, and just to give it a little bit more, so you could see that I had put some twine up there, but it's not even twine. It looks like a little cord. And now I'm going to try to rub off that rub-on, and it's not going to work at all. And the very end of this video, I kind of did ×8 because this video was almost like 26 minutes long or something like that. So super long. And basically at the end is just putting together the rest of the little bit of embellishments that that I have left, and putting the title, which the title is going to be Love Lattes. Now these are some different rub-ons. I believe they're from Dear Lizzie, and they work perfectly. They're just little triangles, and I'm going to put them at the top or at the bottom of that tag, just to add a little something. And then just I'm going to put some in the other clusters too, just one triangle. And then I'm going to put one triangle with the title at the bottom, and I'm going to point it so that it looks like a little arrow. And I only had one left, so I just put one at the bottom. Now I'm also going to mount the whole thing. I'm going to cut it down and mount the whole thing on some black cardstock. And it's just so that it kind of grounds it, because I love white cardstock. I love that your layout really pops, like all the colors really pop on this page, because you know the green is super green. There's no other color in the background to kind of tone it down. The orange is orange, and that paste, it really is shiny. But I found that it looks kind of floaty, the whole page. So I like to cut it down about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch, and then just mount the whole thing on black. So this is where I kind of sped it up ×8, because it's just kind of at the end. And I was going to put I love lattes, but I decided against it. I'm just going to put love lattes, and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the title. And I either like it that it's really close to the clusters, like either like on the bottom, on the top. I don't mind it going sideways. The only reason I didn't want to put it sideways is I didn't want to cover the paste even more than I did. So then I'm going to make it so it's totally away from the cluster, and it almost makes it so it's that third cluster. And I put one little rub on just so that it kind of points to the title. And now I'm going to use my T-square ruler, and I'm going to add some lines, and I'm just going to put, you know, when we travel, we like to go to Starbucks, and that we take some vanilla latte with whipped cream, and it's all our favorite. Like my husband doesn't have it, but it's like me and the kids, like Katie and Josh and myself, we love the lattes with whipped cream. And then I'm using my favorite washi tape, which is the black and white stripe, and I'm just going to cut it down because I find it a little too thick. And I'm just going to add it to 3 space on the layout, and it just adds a little bit more. Again, I like to use a few colors and then put in a pop of a color, so usually a neutral color, and in this case I put black, which I did use the word everyday and the love lattes in black, and then I'm going to put some spots, and then I'm going to put some enamel dots in orange, and I did put 3 corks too. Corks embellishment. One of them is a little car signifying traveling. And here are some close-ups of the layout. And I just want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.